154-pound contender, ranked in the top 8 by all 4 of the sanctioning bodies. My guy, Jesus Ramos, who's got a big fight coming up against the former champ of the division, Jason Rosario, on Amazon Prime pay-per-view, undercard of Benavides Morel. Jesus, what's going on, man? Let's start with the Rosario fight, man. Are you looking to make a statement in this fight? Do you think you knock out Jason Rosario, who, again, has been champion of the division, but all 4 of his losses by knockout? Do you think you win this fight by knockout?
Yeah, man, he's a tough fighter. He's been there, he's done that. He has a lot of experience. He's had a lot of fights, man, with great fighters. The top guys of this division at 154. But it is something that I do have in the back of my mind. Sorry about that, man. I got my dogs with me. But it's something that I do have in the back of my mind, man. I have to knock him out. Like you said, he's got all 4 losses by knockout. So in order for me to make that statement, I need that knockout. And I feel like I've had a lot of time to work, man, from my last fight in May. So I need to go out there and prove everything that I've been working on.
What's some of the things that you can share that you've been working on that you've been sharpening up?
Man, we've been working on a lot of my jab, a lot of jabs, a lot of angles, man. I feel like I showed a little bit of that in May, but we're just perfecting it, man. We're honing all of that. We're getting everything better, making everything look better. So all those angles, man, is gonna be, I feel like a lot better February 1st. And those are the things that I wanna show, the new wrinkles of my game.
How much do you feel Rosario has left right now?
I feel like whatever he does have left, he's gonna bring it, February 1st, because his back is against the wall. He needs this win. He needs to go out there and get a win on such a big card because it might be the last big card that he gets on. So I think his back is against the wall, and I feel like that's more pressure on me because I do need to be perfect February 1st. I think I'm gonna have a tough Rosario in there, and I need to make sure I leave no stones unturned.
You had a really nice knockout in the ninth round against Johan Gonzalez back in September. But just to take it back to the fight before that against Lubin, what did you learn from that fight? And do you feel like you're more prepared now to deal with that kind of style going forward?
Yeah, there was a lot of things that I learned. I feel like I wasn't myself that night, man. I felt like there was a lot of other factors contributing to what happened that night. But I would never, sit here and give any excuses out. So I took full responsibility. I took that on the chin. I went back and I did what I had to do. I made sure that never happens again. Whatever affected me is never going to affect me again, and whatever happened that night was never going to happen again. So all of those things are things that I've been working on. I've changed a lot of things in my life. I think that fight was a blessing in disguise for me. I feel like I kind of needed that to just go to the next level, and I feel like that I'm going there now. I'm seeing things differently now. It's a different perspective. I've grown a lot, not only as an athlete, but as a person,
Mhm.
as just as a human being. And I've learned a lot from that fight.
Yeah, some of what you just said kind of touched on answering my next question, which was what was it like having to deal with a loss? You've been sparring professionals since you were 14, 15 years old, and I know only a certain breed of fighters can do that at that age. So obviously you've always been very confident in yourself. So what was that like having to deal with your first loss as a pro?
Man, it was hard, man. It was hard. It was heartbreaking. It was just like I would never wish that on anyone, man. That was like it was horrible, man. I hate losing and losing that way was even I think made it even tougher. Just that, just a little bit that it was controversial that maybe what if I would have just given a little more? All of those things, man, just they were killing me. And yeah, I would still remember even like when my fight with Johan got announced and I saw that 20-1, I was like, oh man, it just reminded me, little things like that you're not ready for. But it just made me stronger, man. Now there's nothing worries me now. Like what's gonna happen? I'm ready to take on the biggest fighters at 154. what's the worst that could happen? I lose, been there, done that. And I got back up. So I'm not scared of nothing anymore. And I'm excited for that. And like I said, man, it was the blessing in disguise for me. I've learned a lot, I've grown a lot, and I just can't wait for what this new year is gonna bring for me and for my career.
Hey man, at least Canelo thought you won. You know,
Yeah, right.
no, but do you think kind of letting that pain take hold, like not trying to rationalize it with excuses or like, do you feel like that's going to make you much better in the long run?
100%, man. 100% because I'm not blaming anyone. It's my fault. So that's only gonna make me better. I'm not reflecting my mistakes on anyone else. I'm not looking at anyone else on my team and pointing fingers. It's my fault. And I feel like my team is doing the same thing. Everybody went back home and they thought it was their fault. And they all came back for that Johan camp thinking I'm gonna be better, I'm gonna do better. And we all went in there. We all went in that camp like that, like assuming responsibility. Like it was everyone's fault, and we all got back together for camp, and we all took it up another level, and I'm blessed to have a team like that as well that sees things the way I do. So, that just made me stronger, like I said, and I probably would never make any excuses and or say anything, I'm just gonna, like I said, take it on the chin and move forward.
You know, again, you're in the top eight with all four of the sanctioning bodies. Is there any fight out there, should you get past Rosario? Is it a rematch with Lubin or is it someone else that you really want who's kind of who's ahead of where you are, around 5'8", around 5 with some of the others, and they're a little higher. Is there anyone you want to so that you can beat them to really get into the title picture in the top three or so?
Yeah, man, well, the rematches, that was something that I wanted immediately, and it hasn't happened. I haven't gotten it, and but whenever he's ready, I'm ready. Whenever he wants to give me that rematch, I'm all for it. But I mean, honestly, the top guys right now, anyone who's like you said, is ranked higher than me, those are the guys I want. We know Charlo's making his comeback. That's a great fight. That's something that I would definitely want. Like he was the main guy at 154, so having a win over him, it would be great. So those are the guys that I want to share the ring with, that I want to beat, become the best. I mean, you think about it, we see Bam, he beat everybody that was, he beat Gallo Estrada, he beat Cuadras, he's beating all these world champions. I want to do the same thing. We got Rosario, he was one of the main guys at 154. We got Charlo coming up. And if I get my rematch with Lubin, he's been one of the guys that's been the pioneers at 154. So I want to get those wins under my belt too. I want to start the same thing at 154.
I love the Charlo idea, man. I think you hit us with a good one right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love that too. I think that's an awesome fight, and that's an awesome opportunity too. Like I said, he's the most accomplished boxer at 154, and that's something I give him credit for 100%.
He hasn't fought at 54 in a minute. He had that fight with Canelo last year that you fought on. So who do you think right now at 54 today is, removing yourself, the best fighter in the division?
Man, you know what? I think Crawford. He's despite him having only one fight at 154, you can't shake what he's done at 147, at 140, 135. He's I think out of all of us, he's the most accomplished one. He's the most experienced fighter. We're all kind of coming up, Fundora, he's young. Myself, Virgil Ortiz, we're all kind of young. And he's been there, done that. He's fought in mega events. He's fought tremendous fighters. He's got that experience. So I definitely give him that. He's the most accomplished one and probably the toughest one at 154 because of that experience.
Um, finish the sentence for me, Jesus. Jesus Ramos becomes the best fighter at 154
If I beat Damn, man, that's tough because Charlo don't have a belt, so I will have to beat Fundora, and Backroom, and Crawford. You know, if Crawford doesn't fight Canelo and he's over there at 150, his companion at 154, then he's gonna have to be the man to beat at 154, I believe. So those three guys, man, those three guys, the three champions. I need to be the best at 154 and beat those three guys. You know,
Well,
I think that's what was that?
no, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. I think that's the only way to go, man. Beating the world champions. You know, those are the world champions for a reason. And once you get there, we've seen it. We've seen how they just get better. It's just like that having that belt just makes every fighter better. So when you beat a champion, it's different. When you become a champion by beating a champion, that's different. And that's why I feel like beating those three guys makes me the best at 154.
I know I was reading up on you, earlier, and it was a quote that kind of jumped out about your story where you said, "I'm not here for Instagram followers. I'm here to make a statement in the sport of boxing." What is that statement?
At the time, there was a lot of things where, and it still is, obviously, social media is something it's because become so big, man. I like to say it has a lot of power, all these things that are
I
going
mean, your
on.
uncle fought on the Jake Paul card. Like that's how powerful it
Think
is.
about it, man. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I was just about to say that whole week over there, man, it was just crazy to me. Like, just seeing all of that, like, how is that great? Like, how is this possible? But it is what it is, man. That's what times we're living in. And I feel like, I mean, myself, I'm in the gym, man. Keeping up my Instagram, keeping up with my social media, with my content, all of that is so hard for me, man. I just, if in a perfect world for me, I would wake up, do whatever I have to do in the morning for my workout, whether it's a run, whether it's strength and conditioning, come back, rest, go back to the gym, and and for the boxing, I'm there, man, 4 or 5 hours, at the gym, and I'm okay with it. I like to spend time at the gym. I get there, my warm up, my boxing. I do whatever I have to do, man, and my abs, my neck drills, all of these things that I like to do. I'm perfect with that, and come back home, rest. There is no time for social media. There is no time for me to interact, and it sucks, man. Oh, my bad, man, my bad.
All
My
good, man.
camera. It sucks, man, because it's something that depends a lot. It's something that we depend on a lot, in today's world. But I mean, it's hard for me, and that's what I meant by that. I'm not here for none of that. I'm here to show that I'm the best. And how do I do that? By spending that time at the gym, by getting better at the gym every day, by showing out, in every fight. And I can't do that if I'm not in there, if I'm not working, if I'm not putting in that time in. So I don't pay attention to any of the other stuff. I don't really care how many followers I have, who follows me. I'm more so just in my own world per se, um, focused on getting that 1% better every day and making sure that no stones are left unturned for my fight.
So if fans kind of like a more old school fighter, you're their kind of guy.
Correct. Yeah, correct, man. Like I said, and it's dangerous, man. That social media stuff. I've been looking up. I've been reading, man, ever since that last fight. I mean, ever since my fight with Lubin, I've been growing. Like I said, I've been reading a lot, and it's just a matrix, man, and it's something that, even when I get up, I try to avoid it. It's you just because you program your day. When you get up, you take your phone and you program your day with whatever you see and the first thing that pops up. So I stay away from it. I try to stay away from all of that. And like I said, it's something that's become so powerful that it's hard, man. My alarm, that's is my phone. So I just shut it off and stay away from it as much as I can, so little things, man, that is crazy in the world we live in.
It's kind of deep. I got Jesus Ramos to get deep right there. I feel good about that. But yeah, but
Nah, yeah, man, it's just the world we live in, man.
well, I know there's other reporters obviously ready to talk to you about this fight. So I only want to ask you two. Who do you think? Just two fights, man. Who do you think wins the main event that night between Benavidez and Morrell? I know you're cool, Morrell. You got some Arizona connections there. Try to put that aside. Who do you think wins that fight?
Yeah, no, man. All connections aside, all friendships aside, yeah, I like both guys. I like both guys' styles. I think they're both very exciting. I've learned a lot from Morel. He's a southpaw himself, and I've learned a couple things from him watching the fight. But I just feel like he's lacking the experience, that Benavidez already has. He fought Andrade, he fought Caleb Plant. Those are tough guys, man, and he beat them. And Morel, he's extremely talented. He's got a lot of amateur experience, but still feel like, and I think he kind of showed it in that last fight where he needs that pro experience. He needs a tricky, cagey guy to take him some rounds. Because he got a little frustrated there, in that last fight. So I still feel like he lacks that experience, and I feel like Benavidez has been there and he has done that. So I think that I give the edge to Benavidez in that aspect. And I feel like Morel might come out strong, but I see Benavidez edging that out in the later rounds.
And Spence Fundora. It's in your division. Who do you think wins that fight?
Man, I don't feel like that's a smart fight for Spence coming back. Flora's so tall, man, so awkward, to fight such a guy like that. And his confidence is through the roof right now. He's a world champion, and I'm sure he's working extra hard for nobody to take that. And I don't see Spence beating him, and especially not with Spence's style. I don't see him bringing anything to the table that gets too complicated for Fundora. I still feel like Fundora's gonna take him out.
Hey, Jesus, man. Always awesome to catch up with you, bro. Looking forward to watching you
Thank you.
fight here in Las Vegas in February. Anything you
Yes,
got to
sir.
drop on the boxing fans, let it be known. But thank you for your time, man.
No, man, thank you for your time. I appreciate everyone as well. And don't miss the fight, February 1st. The whole card is gonna be stacked. My fight is gonna be an exciting fight. The main event, even the co-main, is something that I'm really, really excited for. That rematch is gonna be really, really good.
Awesome. Thanks, Jesus. Thanks,
Yes, sir.
everybody.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Sean.